Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Tahir Dhindsa and you're watching SDTV. As we all know that the US has withdrawn from Paris Agreement, which was concluded with a very fanfare, and President Obama and so many luminaries took part and promised that this much amount of billions of dollars would be provided, this much would be private money and all that. But US had withdrawn. Then again, the last government of the Democrat had tried to brought it in, but once again US is gone out of that. First week of the COP this year in Brazil is just to end in a day, and the second would start. What are the expectations? And what is the difference between expectations and the result on ground? That can be judged if we take the stock of what is possible now and then juxtapose after next week. So we have today with us Dr. Abid Suleri, who is just about to travel to attend the conference to take part in the second week. Dr. Abid, very warm welcome. Say something on which I've just said.
This COP30 is symbolically very important. It's important because it's 10 years, a decade since Paris Agreement.
Yeah.
It is important because after 1992 Rio Earth Summit, where UNFCCC was founded, COP is back in Brazil after 33 years. So, of course, going back to roots is always important. And it is important because right now, if one look at the geopolitics of climate change, or COP, after US withdrawal, we can see that President Putin, Russia will not be attending it. He didn't attend it because of the travel sanctions and all the arrest warrants. President Xi joined only virtually, and President Modi didn't attend it. And these are the countries which are one of the most polluters. So when you talk of climate change, countries, they are divided into two categories which are important. One, either if you have deep pockets, can you contribute economically? And second, whether a country is one of the quote-unquote most polluters, so that their commitments can be sought to reduce their
carbon footprint.
Footprints. Now, in the absence of America and India, of course, there is a vacuum and a space which is rightly being claimed by China. China now one of the leading exporter of green technology in the world, and one of the largest producer of renewable energy. So China is taking a lead in it. European Union, of course, with the diversion of their budgets to NATO, is now gradually shifting away from Paris commitments. So even Paris Agreement, the government of France, in order to pass its budget, is still struggling to negotiate with the green legislation. How far
they can take it.
The government of France can act on farmers' bill and the taxation on quote-unquote dirty technology. So it's quite a dicey situation in COP.
What do you expect if we bring in some sort of a reality check? What do you expect, really?
Well, the good news is that the agenda was adopted without any real debate. In subsidiary body meeting in Bonn in June, there was a lot of debate on climate finance. This time there are 145 agenda items which will be discussed in the COP 30. 145 agenda item mean all inclusive or nothing would happen. So it can be viewed from two perspectives. One is that it's too thinly spread that perhaps many of the issues will not get proper attention, or it is too inclusive that almost everything would be discussed. Now, climate finance is one of the agenda which is which is categorized as action points in action agenda items in COP30, which mean that even if there are no consensus on it, the discussion will carry on. But lack of consensus would mean that the spoilers, they will have their way and they would keep on.
Do you expect something from the disaster and damage fund?
Disaster and damage fund is a non-starter. It was.
Are they not putting it this time for? I mean, just to.
It would be, but if you look at the total pledges so far in loss and damage fund is less than $1 billion. With less than $1 billion of pledges and $250 million worth of projects would be given to all the vulnerable countries, whoever would have a bankable proposal. So that is a peanut. I think our provinces, they can mobilize more money.
More money than what? Last question. What would you say? I mean, just as a bullet point, then when you come back and we compare the two, look, this was the hopes and aspirations, and that is what has been achieved.
Is it,
what are 2-3 things?
Brazil is labeling and branding this COP as Action COP.
Action COP.
So they say that let's go light on negotiations and let's go heavy on taking actions on what has already been negotiated.
Right.
Which, of course, seems to be a sane approach. Now, how far we can go with those actions without a financial commitment, that needs to be seen. This COP would be heavy on adaptation. Adaptation means that learn to live with climate change through modifying our day-to-day living practices and policies and habits. How can we learn?
How can we embrace the change?
Learn to live with drought. How can we learn to live with the erratic monsoon? How can we learn to live with frequent floods? And this is basically an approach which in the old wisdom used to be said as one stitch in time saves nine. So this is one stitch in time. So this COP would be focusing on adaptation. This COP is focusing on global stock taking. Global stock taking mean countries, they should keep on bringing on table what sort of actions they would be taking to reduce their carbon emission. Science has already told us that we have missed the opportunity of containing the planet's temperature by 1.5%. Now, we will have to reduce our global emissions by 50% by what they were in 2019 if we really want to contain that temperature. That's not going to happen. So if that's not going to happen, what next? And the next, which is being put forwarded by fossil fuel countries, is carbon sequestration and carbon capturing. These are untested technologies, but one is hopeful that with the help of technology, perhaps there can be some development in years to come whereby carbon gases can directly be captured from atmosphere to reduce their intensity so that this global warming can be contained. And Brazil as host government is very hopeful for raising funds for tropical forest forever facility. So for example, the Amazon forest, the type of oxygen, the magnitude of oxygen that they produce and the magnitude of carbon dioxide that they absorb through Amazon forest is 1/3 of total global carbon emission. And that's the value of Amazon forest and the tropical
trees, yes.
Forest. Now, Brazil is putting forward this case that in order to retain those forests, countries
should pay.
Having tropical forests should receive money as an incentive not to chop those trees because these are the global lungs.
Lungs.
So let's see.
Let's see
what comes out after negotiation after the second week.
Yeah. So obviously, very dicey situation, and truly 1.5 degree after the industrial era, that limit has been breached. And now they say it's a tipping point which is coming close. I think so. There's a pressure on industrialized countries as well. But unfortunately, it's not the energy only, but the finance and the currency in many cases also depend on the use of fossil fuel, and that is the reason that the US and the all these countries not budging in. So let's see, we'll post this program today or tomorrow, and after 1 week or after 10 days when he comes back, we'll interview him again and try to give the situation juxtapose. So what were the expectations and what is the achievement on ground? With this, we come to end of the program. Bye for now.